we are going to figure out which Sims game is the hardest. And we'll do it using science. Now, before you go run into the comment section saying you already know which game is the hardest of the 4 Sims games, do you really know which Sims game is the hardest? We are going to figure this out with my mathematical and scientific intuition. Now, we all have a hunch of which game is the easiest. Sims 4 being the easiest and Sims 3 being pretty close to it. Are they really easier though? Let's do our first experiment of many. A simple test to eliminate the games that are too easy from the running. The hunger test. While on speed 3, how long will it take for each sim to die? I think it's safe to say we can eliminate Sims 3 and 4 from the most difficult running, despite certain elements being harder than Sims 1 and 2, I'm sure. Sims 2 dies faster than Sims 1? But is this not interesting? I do a lot of challenges on this channel between the different Sims games. People have always called me crazy when I tell them I think Sims 2 is actually the hardest game of the series. So is Sims 2 actually harder than Sims 1? Well, that raises a whole slew of questions we're going to have to figure out now. First, we actually need to identify what makes a Sims game hard. Fundamentally, you must keep your mood up. How much does your job pay? And how hard is it to rise through the promotions? Item and lot cost? And things you may not really consider like walk and run speed. Since we're on the topic, let's discuss walk and run speed. Traveling from one object to the next adds up, especially in a game where your mood is in a constant state of depletion. While a singular action may not be much, over a long playthrough, this will really impact the difficulty curve in an unforeseen way. There is one problem with coming up with the calculation though. There is no clear consensus on how tall Sims actually are. So, for simplicity, let's assume an adult Sim is 6 feet tall. And by using my trusty invention, the Grab-A-Note gun, we can tweak the settings, allowing him to stand on the booty of his lover from the 1x1 challenge, who stole not only his TV, but stole his heart. If I could just... By referencing our Titar measuring stick, we can clearly see that one block is 3 feet by 3 feet, half of our Sim's height. I mean, this is some scientific stuff right here. And assuming Sims 1 has the exact same Sim height, which we assume it does, that would mean that the blocks in Sims 1 are also 3 feet by 3 feet, so now we can get an accurate measurement on which game runs faster, and by how many feet per second. So now we are ready to ask ourselves, which of these two games is the fastest walker and runner? Both games are 5 blocks away, or 15 feet. Sims 1 is nearly 15% slower at a walk rate of 3.75 feet per second, with Sims 2 being 4.41 feet per second walk rate. Now let's have them run 30 feet. Sims 1 is 6% slower at a run rate of 8.82 feet per second, while Sims 2 runs at 9.38 feet per second. So in walking and running, Sims 1 is slower. Therefore, it is harder. I know we touched on hunger a bit earlier. We will look at those other moods towards the end of the video because there's a lot that goes into that. Let's start looking at cost and breaking that down. Which games' lots cost more? I could not find an exact one-to-one example here, but I found 2 lots as close as I could in terms of size. By comparing how many 3 foot by 3 foot squares it has compared to the cost of the lot, I have discovered that 2 lots of similar size get a cost of $4.03 per tile in Sims 1, whereas Sims 2 is $5.33 per tile. If my calculation here is correct, that means you're spending more money in Sims 2 on your lots than Sims 1. Eureka! But is this not concerning? So far, Sims 2 seems to be harder than Sims 1, which goes against what most people are saying. I have calculated the average or mean price for the Sims 1 and Sims 2 fridge, stove, bed, toilet, shower, and TV. Can you guess which game is more expensive where? Your fridges cost 78% more, stoves 70% more, beds 24% more, toilets 12% more, showers less than 1% more, and TVs 3% more, all in Sims 1 versus 2. So in all areas, Sims 1 is more expensive than Sims 2. In fact, on average, Sims 1 costs 23.85% more than Sims 2 does for its main items catalog. But wait, we're forgetting a crucial element to consider. What about pay? More expensive items are only more expensive in relation to the amount of money you make. Because if one game makes $1.21 million per hour, then it's really not harder than the other game, right? I averaged out all of the Sims 1 and Sims 2 jobs to see what the average pay would be for a starting position. I have also updated the earnings of Sims 2, considering Sims 2 has days off where Sims 1 does not, so that affects the amount of money per day made. Sims 1, you have no days off. Sims 2, you do have days off, which means that in Sims 1 and Sims 2, you're earning different amounts per day because of the fact you take certain days off. The tier 1 pay for all jobs for Sims 1 is 11.06% less at $137.65 compared to Sims 2, $154.77 per day. So Sims 1 is more expensive and you make less money. The math is just not adding up in SimCity. A rough economy. But what about max career? Which game makes less money then? Well, it looks like Sims 1 makes even less money on average at 24.11% less than Sims 2 max careers at $1,043.50 compared to $1,375 per day. But it's not just pay we have to consider here. Which game is harder to get level 10 in career? Part of that is mood depletion, which I still plan on discussing toward the end of the video. But what are the skill and friendship requirements in each game for max level promotion? On average, Sims 1 requires 33.1 skill points to reach the max career, while Sims 2 requires 27.04, meaning it's 22.41% more difficult in Sims 1 than 2 in terms of skill points. And on average, you need 12.3 friends in Sims 1, whereas Sims 2 is 10.08 friends required to reach level 10 career, meaning Sims 1 you need 22.02% more friends than in Sims 2. In almost every way, Sims 1 is a harder game than Sims 2. But now, to answer that burning question from the beginning of the video, if Sims 2 Sims died twice as fast as Sims 1, how about the rest of the mood meters? And once we're done with that, we'll summarize everything and find out which game is more difficult in the form of a percentage. Let's see those times now. I know there are a lot of numbers here, so let me simplify things. In every moodlet, Sims 1 drops faster with the exception of Sims 2 Hunger and Social. The reason Sims 2 feels so hard to play is Sims 2 Hunger and Social dropped so fast, in fact, that their decay outweighed all 5 of the other moodlets, making Sims 2 mood decay technically 44.47% harder than Sims 1, despite it only being 2 of the 7 primary moodlets that dropped that fast. And now, with my Sims-tastic formula, it finally answered the question, which Sims game is harder? And by how much? Sims 1 is a whopping 210.86% more difficult than Sims 2. What results of this test surprised you the most? Comment below and perhaps maybe we'll make even more scientific discoveries together.